Okay, so we were discussing chilsis, that if an animal eats chilsis, it can become a treifa. We had another place that said it's kshera. We answered that's speaking about the leaves. If it's speaking about the leaves, then it's not a problem. If, however, it's speaking about the grain itself, the grain itself has a sharp edge to it, and therefore the animal will inevitably, one of its internal organs will be pierced, and it's a treifa. So Amrav Yehuda, we're up to Nun Tes Amid Aleph at the top. Amrav Yehuda, Haiman the Ochel Tilsa Tikle Chalsis. Someone who eats three measures of chilsis, aliba reikana on an empty stomach, mishtalcha mashche, his skin will peel off. Amrav Avo, b'didi haviyuvda, I had such an incident. Yachli chad tikla chalsisa, I didn't eat three measures, I ate one measure. V'iloi diyas mimaya, and if I didn't put myself in water, mishtalcha mashche. I guess it heated you up and your skin would peel. So he sat himself down in cool water, and it had deterred the effect. And if I didn't sit in water, I would have gone ahead and it would have been, my skin would have peeled. Rabbi Yosef, says Rabbi Yosef. Nasin, we're on Nun Tesam at Aleph, we're about 5-6 lines down. 5-6 lines down, Nun Tesam at Aleph. Rabbi Yosef, Haiman the Ochel Shitzre Beya, 16 eggs, Varaboyi Emguze and 40 nuts, Vishav Butisa, the parche, and 7 caper berries, Vishasa Riviyasa the dufsha, and eats drinks the revius of honey, Bitkufis Tammuz, in the hot days, Valibere Kona on an empty stomach, Misaka Talia Delibe, his heart tube will burst. In other words, if his stomach doesn't burst first, his heart will burst. Unless this will kill you. Ahi Bar Tavia, the Oslebe Reish Galusa, there was this deer that came to the Reish Galusa, Davi Mafsik Karin Basraisa, its legs in the back were off. Botke Rav Bitsumas Agidin, I guess it was limping along, and he checked the Tsumas Agidin, and he said it's okay. So this is what Rav did. Sava Lemechal Minei Bumsa. So Rav thought, you know what? I'll go ahead, and Bumsa means just a little salt, and what the oilam calls black and blue. You eat something, it's called black and blue. You put it on the fire for a second, so that would seem to be umtza. That would seem to be umtza. So Rav, after he machshid this deer, he thought to go ahead and eat it be umtza. And that's what he thought to do. Amalei Shmuel. Shmuel said, Lechayesh mar linikurei. Aren't you worried about what? Perhaps it was bitten by a snake, and it's asha al sakonis nefashos. Amalei said, Rav, Maita Kanta. So Noisve Bitanura, right? Go ahead and put it in. I guess Shmuel said, Maita Kanta, Noisve Bitanura, put it in an oven. The Iu Bodik Nafshe, it'll go ahead and check itself out whether it was bitten by a snake or not. Oisve, they put it in the oven. Nafil Tilche. It became falling off pieces by pieces. It's very interesting, fellas. The snakes that were found in this area predominantly are snakes that have a hemotoxin. A hemotoxin, what it does, it erodes the skin. In other words, you find many people who deal with snakes, they're missing a naver. Their fingers, they get bit in the finger, and it'll go ahead. The acidic acid of the venom, which goes ahead and digests the food, it digests the fingers also. So very often the outcome of a venom is that it's going to go ahead and erode. So that would make a lot of sense over here, where you see that the skin, the meat began eroding. It was peeling off piece by piece. And that was the raya who was bitten by a snake. Kari Shmuel Alaha the Rav. Shmuel, who said Rav was protected from this, look, Rav was going to eat it. And then Shmuel said maybe he was bitten by a snake. And we see that what? That prevented Rav from eating it. So Shmuel said, Lo yu'un litzadek kolavin. It wouldn't happen to a tzaddik any bad thing. So Kori Rav to Shmuel, however, Rav applied this pasuk to Shmuel, the chol roz lo anaslach, and any secret is not missing from him. So that's the end of the chilsis, and guys, this is really bemis the end of Treifus. This is the end of Hilchos Treifus, discussing all the 18 Treifus, the Shev Shmaisha, the Baskar. And now we begin for the rest of the Perek. We're discussing animals. kosher animals, what's not an animal, and a lot of things we take for granted are very, very not obvious. So I'd like to go through a piece with you in the Sichas Chulin on page Tough Zion. On page Tough Zion in the Haggah on the bottom, if you look on the side, on the right side, there's a one. You see in the middle of the right, there's a one. You have it, everybody? Okay, everyone has it? Meir Gewurtzman, you have it? Okay, great. Dove, I don't want you looking. Anyways. B'terem agash lichtoiv ha'oros al chelik zeh shel perik shlishi. Before I begin writing the ha'oros on this part of the perik, akdim hakdama nechaytza. I'm going to give you a hakdama that's necessary, very urgent. Noise zeh shel have shemes balachayim hamuskorim b'mikra seinu hakadoshim. The source, the names of the animals that we call kasher hu ma'od. It's very hard. The names that we give animals, it's hard to say that that's that animal. The korach bebayis rabbis, and it causes many problems. Sherefilu Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom niskashe biyidiyah balechayim hamutarim ba'asurim. Moshe didn't know, even after giving the simanim, Moshe did not know the animals that were kosher or asa. At sheher le Kodesh Baruch Hu be'etzba. Till Kodesh Baruch Hu showed him. V'af b'nei Yisrael hoyitzrichim sheyoches Moshe Rabbeinu v'shalom kol min v'min b'yadai v'yir lehem. And Moshe, as a result, he showed the b'nei Yisrael the animals that you could eat and the ones that you can't. V'chol zois b'yos Yisrael alad masam. And this was all when Yisrael lived in Eretz Yisrael. Im ha'behema v'achaya asher b'ratzam. So in other words, while we were in Eretz Yisrael, with the animals, right? With the animals that Moshe showed us, we knew clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, this was kosher and this wasn't kosher. This was mutter and this was asa. No question. Aval, listen to this. We were put into galus. Rak anu galinu. Not only us, elakfisha shaninu b'besichas the eicha rapsi. Omer Rav Chanina, Barabavo, Sheva Meis Mine Dogim Tahirim, 800 types of kosher fish. Ushmoina Meis Mine Chagavim, 800 types of grasshoppers, Tahirim. For Oifaisle Mispar, and the amount of birds that are kosher, they're infinite. For Kulon Goloi im Yisrael Bavel, they all went with us to Bavel. The Gam Ekev HaChurbin, V'Hashmama, Hishtanu Mekaimis Michiyasam, Shabalichayim Rabim. And as a result of the Churban, it was Mishtana, many of the places where these animals live. We lost them. Nadadu, they moved, or Yishtanu, adlabli heka, we don't recognize them anymore. New different types of species came in. Im HaKoivshim, with the people who conquered Eretz Yisrael. So everything got mixed up. Everything got mixed up. So we take for granted that when we call something something, that's what it is. But it's we don't know. We have simanim, but it's unclear since the animals were mixed up like we were mixed up. It's unclear. Okay, it's unclear. Now, be aware. There's a geschmacka Rambam, guys. This is a very, very geschmacka Rambam. Says the Rambam. You see, does it say Perek Rishon, guys? Yes? Good. Says the Rambam. Mitzvah is the Perek Aleph from Hilchas Meichalos Yisuris. Mitzvah say Leda. It's a mitzvah to say to know. Hasimonim shemavdilim behen bein behema v'chaya v'oif v'dogim v'chagavim. It's a mitzvah to know these simonim. Shemuta la'achlan ubein she'ein muta la'achlan. Which one you could eat, which you can't eat. Shenemar v'ivdaltim bein abehema ha'tohira la'tameya ubein oif ha'tameya l'tohar. Says the Rambam, guys, there's a mitzvah, even if you don't eat it. Even if you don't eat it, it's a mitzvah to know and study which one the simonim. V'nemar v'havlu ben atami ben ator ben achaya hanecheles uben achaya shenatoicha. Says the Rambam in Perek Beis. Says the Rambam in Perek Beis. Shenema v'chol behema mafreses parsa. We're going to see what that is. V'shasha shesa shtei prosos malas gera shemeani malas geru mafreses pasa surah. If it's imlaf, I'm missing. I don't know. Let me see if I can get this over here. Okay, if I make it a little smaller, it'll become clear. I don't know why it's not clear. Okay, there you go. V'chal shenemar, it says, v'chal behem mafreses parsa v'shasha shesa shtei prosais malas geira shemeani memela. I would hear in the far shekol she'ena malas geira, any animal that's not mafreses parsa asura. Once you tell me this, guys, I would know this. The lav haba mechal asehu, and a lav that you hear as a result of an asay is an asay. Guys, the asay is, these are the kosher traits of the animal. We can infer from that the non-kosher traits, the animals that don't have those traits. And it's an asay. That's an asay. Uve gomel, ubechaze, ubarneves, ubeshafan. These are the four animals mentioned. The gomel, the anefes, b'shafan, because they don't have split hooves, and the chazir because it doesn't chew its cud. Nemar ezel, it says in them ezel lo seichelu mimali agera umafrise parsa harilamarta shehein beloy sase. It's a loy sase to eat these animals. V'yafal pi sheyesh ben simen echad, even though they have one simen. The kol shkein shar behema tameya v'chaya tameya shein b'simen klal. We have none of the simonim. Sheis achilasam beloy sase. Yeser alasei haba mechal asei. So in other words, if you eat one of these animals, not only are you over a lav, you're also, guys, mevatel and asay. Not only are you over a lav, you're mevatel and asay. Lav haba mechal asay. And the Rambam says it's a mitzvah to study it, even though you don't need it. It's a mitzvah to study it. It's a mitzvah to learn it. So look at in Tezayin, in the Sichas Chulin, guys. The second paragraph, go down where you have broad lines over there. The Alkane, you see where it's bold, the bold print. The Alkane, Darke b'tzir tziyar sugyas elu b'ksivas harosayim tiyeh loy lichtov shemois balichayim b'guf hatziyar. I'm not going to put names because he's not sure. He's not going to put names by the pictures. El im kein adava muchrich ubaror me'agamora mefarsheha. The only time I'm going to put a name is when it's clear from the Gemara and the Mefarshim. But if it's not clear, I'm not going to put a name to it. In the ha'aros and the bottom, then I'll go ahead and say what I think, right? But he's going to put a picture with a name. Again, begin with the Akdama, the fact that things are lost, that things are lost and we don't know. So he's hesitant to go ahead and give it a name. But in the Aris, he'll go ahead and explain different things. Okay, let's look at the next picture. Tough. We all know, guys, that it has to have split hooves and chew its cud, right? All the animals that I eat must chew their cud and have split feet. We all know. Uncle Moshe taught us everything, right? What is process? What is process? Look at the picture. Process is the whole hoof, front and back, has a shoe on it. The whole front and back has a shoe on it. That's process. That's process. So if you look on page Tuf Yud Beis, you have the distinction between a chaya and the behema on the left, the bottom left, that's a behema. And on the other side, that's called telafim. It looks more like a chaya that's found, if found in chayas, it's found in behemoths also. But that's process. That's what process means. Shoisha shesa means that they're split through. The hoof is split through. That's what it means. Guys, the camel is a split, but it's not through. The camel chews its cud, it has proselytes, but it's not complete. Right? A pig has a complete paros, but it's not split. Excuse me, it is split. It is split. It is split. The pig, it is split. It is split. So you have the terms that we use, we should be familiar with. That proselytes means like it means that cloven foot. Now, a horse has one, but it's not split, right? A horse has a total, it's covered, but it's not split. So this is we're beginning the sugya of different things. We're going to see all kinds of very interesting things. There's Hashem. So let's begin. Says the Mishnah on the Nun Testament Aleph. Simana behema v'chaya nemru b'nei Torah. You look in the Torah, you know the simanim of a behema and a chaya zois achaya, and these are the simanim. Guys, we have no simanim of a knife. The Torah does not give simanim. It tells you the birds you can't eat. Now, what Chazal did was able to ascertain the ones that they know were treif and the ones they know were kosher to take characteristics out and say these are characteristics of what? Of a tamei of the bird. So therefore, the simanei oif leinemru. It doesn't say simanim of the oif. Aval chachamim, the chachamim, they said kol oif hadoiris tamei. Any oif that is doiris, is tamei. And there's just anyone that, in other words, it takes its talons and it goes ahead and picks it up from the ground, what it eats, that is a siman of that's a siman of a treifedik bird. That's a siman of a treifedik bird. Anyone that has an extra etzba, v'zefek and a zefek, a crop, a storage tank, v'kurkvanoi niklaf, and its kurkivin, its gizzard, can be niklaf, peeled, tahar, that's tahar. Let's see a Rashi, guys, on Samich Beis Amid Aleph. Rashi Samich Beis Amid Aleph. It's the top Rashi. Bahani mili deloy daras. Now, that was I gave you the wrong mamakan. Bahani mili deloy daras. If you look on Rashi, Diber Masal Vahani Mili, I'd say it's about 13, 14 lines down in the Gemara. Like 12 lines. Vahani Mili D'loi Daras. You have it? lines, 13 lines down, Nasan. Amalahem. The first word in the line is Amalahem in the Gemara.
Which daf?
Samich Beis Amid Aleph. You have it? V'hani mili d'lei daras. Ki mishkachinen beis simen echad michaskinen le b'tohar. Let's say you find a bird. It has a crop, or it has a kurkumin that is peeled. Kol kamad lechazinen le daras. As long as you don't see it going ahead and daras and clawing, going down with talons. Venerally, shekol oif hanoisin ragloi ala oichel kisho oichloi. Any animal that places its foot on any bird that places its foot on the other bird, umachzikoi beragloi shelo and it holds it down that it shouldn't move. V'lo yinot the kuloi eitzel piv hu drisa. That's what's called drisa is. It doesn't pick it up to put it to its mouth. It holds it down and it goes down and gets it. Again, this is in line, guys. This is fascinating. We're trying to learning kosher from non-kosher by just viewing. Again, if we lived in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, would there be no shilas whatsoever? Yes, not. But you see, over time, it's because of the historical perspective, what happened, the need to go ahead and figure this out. So they say, so what is doras, guys? I always learned doras means it kills it with its feet and it's a carnivore. Rashi is giving us a real understanding. It holds it down. It's doris is some trampling. Drasa, right? Drasa means to put. Guys, what's drasa? What's shchita drasa? You push the pipe. It's not shtoisen. Shtoisen is to gore. It's not shtoisen. Yeah, drasa means to push. No, it's not shtoisen, Harold. It means drasa means to push down. But that's right. That's the drasa of the one of the 15 shchitas, right? We said drasa. If you're going to go ahead and put it down, that's going to be. So that means also over here, a drusa. It means you're pushing it down. That's doris. You're pushing it down.
Is
It's
that
holding on.
stomping? Is it stomping maybe?
No, it holds it down. You look at birds of prey, they fly, they put it down, and as they put it down, they put their heads down and they rip it apart. Etzel piv udrisa. V'chein derech uravim. The ravens do it. Shegadlin bebatim. Shekarin kuku. Right? The cuckoo bird. Right? So so we get it from Rashi on Samich Beis. We get a good understanding of Drusa. So if you have your own Gemara, that's what I did. I said it's Doris, I said look at Rashi a little later on, and it makes I put it by the Rashi. Ha'oiches b'tzforn of magbiyam and akarka masha'oichel. Okay, so Etzba Yisera, we said. Now, what exactly is the Etzba Yisera? What exactly is the what it says it has an Etzba Yisera? What is an Etzba Yisera? So again, here you also have a big machloikas what the Etzba Yisera is. Of course, I had it right. Come on, where's the Etzba Yisera? Okay, it has an extra finger. Machloikis, is it a middle finger that's long, or is it a finger in the back? That's a sign of a kosher bird, right? Rebbe, Rebbe Lezer Tzaddik Omer, Kol Oif HaChoylik Es Raglav Tamei. A knife that's Choylik Es Raglav, fellas. It goes ahead, and when it sits on the branch, you have two in front and two in the back. You have two in front. You have two in front and two in the back. I know where I saw the Etzba Sarah. Now I know where I saw it. It wasn't in this book. It was in this book. Okay. In the article picture, fellas, look. This is machloikis, the Etzba Sarah. It's either one up on the leg according to Rashi. According to the Ramban, you see the extended middle toe. That's Etzba Sarah. And here's the animal that, look, it puts it two in front and two in the back. The parrot, two in front and two in the back. These are simonim guys of an oif tame. Again, what they did was they looked and they looked at these things and they put together for us. They put together what we should know. Now, Rabbi Lesman said, "Kol oif hacholik esraglav tame ubechagavim grasshoppers." Can you imagine? Once upon a time, there were 800 types of kosher grasshoppers. 800. Baruch will tell you each one. His Zayda. Kol yeshle arba raglayim v'arba kanafim. It has 4 feet, 4 wings. V'katzulav. It has jumping legs. Ukanafav chayfim esruboy, and its wings cover the majority of the body. Rabbi Yisrael mishmei chagav. It's got to be called chagav. Uvedagim kol sheyeshle sapir v'kaskeses. By dagim, it has to have scales. A snapir is fins, kakeses is scales. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, shnei kaskasin snabarecha, 2 scales and 1 fin. Ve'elin kaskasin, what a kaskasin, hakvuyin boy. It's the one that is kavua to him. Guys, I tell you, this is a great trivia question. You know we learn out the Taicha kaskasim? We learned it out from Goliath. Goliath, when he went to go ahead, it says that his armor of mail weighed X amount. And that's like scales, right? That's where we learn it from. Usnapirim hapareach behem, and the fins. That's what it swims with. So you get a potpourri of different simonim of animals. Okay, Bes Hashem, we'll go through different things and see different things. Okay, says the Gemara. Tan Rabbanan, Elu hein simone behema. These are the simone behema. Called behema mafreses parsa. Right, it has a foot that is, as we saw, surrounded. Kol behema shemayla geira, b'yadua she'en shinayim l'mayla. Be aware, any animal that chooses cud does not have teeth l'mayla. Any animal that does not, now it doesn't mean it doesn't have upper teeth, guys. It means it doesn't have teeth in the front. Take a look on page tough ches, saf ches. You see the cow? Saf ches, saf, or tough, like ches. So there's a cow there, and if you look at the cow's mouth, it's pointing biyadua she'en la shinayim lamayla. We know the cow chews its cud, and it does not have teeth on top, but that doesn't mean not at all. It means in the front. It doesn't have teeth in the front. Okay, good. That's what it means. It doesn't have teeth in the front. Says the Gemara Vaita. Utahira. The klalahu, is this a klal? V'harei gomel the maile geirahu. The gomel chews its cud. The ainle shinayim lamaila, and it doesn't have v'tamei, and we know it's tamei. Says the Gemara, gomel nive islay. A gomel has nivi. Take a look, guys, at picture page Saf Tes. Take a look at picture 2. So the camel chews its cud. It doesn't have those upper teeth. So what does the Gemara answer? It has these two. You see it's pointing. It has nivi. Gomel nivi ispei. It has two. It's pointing to two teeth on top. The small picture on the left. Two. See it? There's two little pointing the nivi. So it has something there to make that distinction. Fred the Gemara vari ben gomel the nivi nami lesle. The ben gomel, that the creature the ben gomel does not have the nivim. It chews its cud and it doesn't have teeth in upper teeth. V'su harei shafain v'arneves the maile geiruhu v'yesh lem shnayim l'mayla. Page Tuf Yud. Both the rabbit and the hydrox, they call it the hydrox, they both chew their cud and they have upper teeth. They have upper teeth. So in other words, where your rule is not a good rule, right? And they're tummy. So again, again, what was your rule? If you don't have upper teeth and you chew your cud, you're kasha. I have an animal that chews its cud and has upper teeth. I have an animal that chews its cud and has upper teeth. The rabbit and the hydrox, they chew their cud, they have upper teeth. So what kind of rule do you have? For oid, shinayim miksivi baraisa. What we have two simonim. Mafres is parsa shashat shesa. Statement garnish vitsena. Doesn't say anything about teeth, right? So what do you give me a rule about teeth? Elachi kamar kol behema she'ein la shinayim lemayla. If the animal does not have teeth above, biyadua she milas geira umafres is parsa utahira. Okay, any animal she'ein lahem shinayim lemayla. In other words, there is no animal that has upper teeth that chews its cud that's not kosher. Gomel, guys, Gomel has upper teeth. Shafan, Arneves have upper teeth. Right? Fred the Gemara, so why do you have to check, see about teeth? Go ahead and check and see its hooves, if it's milas gera. In other words, why use something that the Torah does not give me? Use the siman that the Torah does give me. Kigain shahayu parsaseh chatuchais. Maybe it's parsaseh I'm missing. V'chad Rav Chisda, Dam Rav Chisda, hayemahalech b'midbar. If a person's going in the midbar, and there in the midbar, guys, you don't have any roiv. It says, somebody says there's no din of roiv in the midbar. Umatzah behema sheparsaseh chatuchais. And you find an animal that it has cut off parsais, its feet are cut off. Boidik bepiha, check its mouth. Imein l'shenayim l'mayla biyadua shitayra. Im la biyadua shitmeya. In other words, you know that this chews its cud. You can't check the feet because it's not there. So you check the teeth. If there's no teeth, it's a kosher animal. Fred the Gemara b'vad sheyakid gomel. You have to recognize it's a gomel. What kind of feg? So Aya Gomel does not have teeth. Says no, Gomel Nivi. No, Islay, they have these two fangs on the side. Ella Obavad Shiyaka Ben Gomel. Provided you recognize the one, notice there's one animal that you have to worry about, the Ben Gomel. It doesn't have upper teeth, right? It doesn't have upper teeth. It does not have it chews its cud, but it doesn't have split feet. So if the split feet are off, you won't be able to use the siman for that. But if you know that this animal is not a ben gomel, then you could use the siman of chewing its cud and not having teeth in the mouth, in the front of the mouth. Fred Gemara, Lav Amr Ika ben gomel. So Fred Gemara Kashas. And now you're telling me that all you have to worry is about a ben gomel. It says for Ikanami mini achrina didami le ben gomel. There must be what? Some other animal that's similar to ben gomel that doesn't have upper teeth and it doesn't have split feet, but it chews its cud and the feet are missing. So how could you unequivocally, Rav Kista, say you could eat this animal? I recognize Ben Gomel. Maybe there's some other bria that's similar to Ben Gomel that doesn't have teeth and doesn't have split feet, but does chew its cud. So how can you be mata? My cholis yisuros. Says Loy Sal Kedaitach. The Tani debate Rabbi Shmuel, Ves Hagomel, Ki Maila Geirahu. Shalit by Lamai. Shalit by Lamai. Mamish, you go throughout the whole world. Yodeya she'ein lecha min HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's shalit by Lamai. Yodeya she'ein lecha dava ma'ila geira v'tamei ela gamol. He knows that what? There's nothing that is ma'ila geira, nothing that's ma'ila geira, ela gamol. Lefikach parak by HaKosav Hu. That's a gamol Hu, meaning it and only it. Nothing if answer but. So therefore, guys, you don't have to worry about anything. This is a raya. Guys, they bring these Gemaras as a raya to the emes of Torah. How is it possible? How is it possible? Kadosh Baruch Hu says it. This is the only animal. There are only 3 animals in the world, 3 that chew their cud and don't have split feet. The gomel, the shafan, the aneves. There's only one animal that has split feet and doesn't chew its cud, the chazah. And anyone you find that does, it's in that family. It's amazing. It's a right to the Torah Bura. How could a Basa B'dam know exactly? You're finding species all over the world. Only a Kadosh Baruch Hu shalit by lamai. Kadosh Baruch Hu shalit by lamai. Here's the lashon of the Maritz Chias. On the shalit by lamai. Hakavana she'atayri nasna b'zeh simanim shehi min hashamayim achrei she'anoshim choykrim b'chol matmoinos hateva u'moitziim b'chol eitz b'medinos chadashos brios gedolos v'chayos nefrados ashaloi noidu l'kadmoinim, animals that were never known to people from before, u'b'chol zois loimatzu oid behema oichaya asher tiyeh maila gera levad lezulas hagamol umafresis parsa lisad zulas hachazir. No matter what they found, no matter where, man, they went to some Fashtunkana island somewhere. Nonetheless, they never found anything except these. Well, lefikach parad hakosav loidia sherak hu hashalit ba'olamai v'yodei kol yitzuroi. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu shalit ba'olamai and knows of all his creations. Sherak elu ha mefurashim b'Torah levad. Hema bali siman echad v'lo yoser. Only these guys, the Gomal, the Arnebes, the Shafan, and the Chazir, only these have one of the Simanim. It's not possible for any Bas Adam to make this decision. Emes. Okay, we'll see, right? Okay, we'll see Bez Hashem. Daf Samech, okay? So the Maris Chias, guys, a very nice marmokim on the word shalit by lama. If you have your Gemara, right, ayin maritz Chias. It's it's interesting. He gave the explanation that I just gave. Because I must have seen it by him, but I don't, Anyway, so that's the fascinating part. Okay, a continuation of the same theme with Rav Chisda. A second word line at the end of the line. For Amar Rav Chisda, says Rav Chisda, a person is going in the way, and what's a behemoth shepia gomus? His mouth is cut, and you can't check the teeth. Boidik v'praseha, go ahead and check the hooves. In praseha, it's sedukos b'yadua shitahira. Again, we know it's malagera. If you see it's malagera and it has one of the simonim, that its feet are cut, you know for sure it's the hayra. Imlav b'yadua shitameya, then you know it's a tamei. Ubavad sheyake chazer. Provided, right, you recognize the chazer, because the chazer is not malagera. Lav amrit ikar chazer ikanami min achrina. Maybe there's other min. The dummy lechazir says Molay Salkadaita the Tana Bishmoyel Vesa Chazir Ki Masas Pasa Hu Shalom Barlama Yadea Shem Lechadover Mafis Pasa V'Tamei El Chazir. The only one that has split hooves and his tamei is the Chazir. Lefikach Parit Boya Kosiv Hu. You go in the midbar and you find one animal that its mouth is gomim, it's cut. And its feet are cut off. So now, how are you going to tell if it's kosher or not? Check its meat. If the meat goes horizontal and vertical, be a duashi tahira. If it doesn't, be a duashi tameya. You know the wild donkey. I guess the orid is a treif animal that it goes shesi ve'erev. For the Gemara Lachar, you have the same thing. Maybe the So Gemiri deleka. We have Messiah deleka. It's funny over here we don't say we don't say shalit by lamo. Here we say we have Messiah. It's a little different. You have to see. Here's a little different, right? Gemiri. The orid seems to be, fellas. The Gemara in Brachas says the orid is a it's a mixture. It's a mixed breed. It's a mixed breed. It's not a pedigree breed. I forgot between a tsav and something else. You know what I'm talking about? What an orid is? Orid is it's a mixture of something. I don't know. Anyway, this orid is some type of mixed breed. It's not so that could be pshat over here. So Gemiri Deleka says in whatever Heiki Badik, where exactly do you check for Shesi Erev? On Rabbi Tamer of Chista, the Kanfeya Oikitz. And the Kanfeya Oikitz, Rashi has a girsa, Oikitz Tacha Alya, in the back part of the animal, that's where you check. Okay. Says the Gemara, Siman Ichaya. What's the simon of a chaya? Parabanan Eluhen Simon Ichaya. Says Chaya b'chal behemehi. The simonim. When it comes to simonim, a chaya is b'chal behema. If you look at our Mishnah, guys, simoni behema v'chaya nemru b'b'tayra. Any chaya, any kosher chaya has to have split hooves and shuvitz kod. So what's the Gemara's kasha? What's the Gemara's kasha? Simoni chaya. Guys, what's the Gemara's kasha? Simoni chaya. So now in the Havamina, we were speaking in the Indian kashrus. In other words, what's a kosher chaya? And for the Gemara, what do you mean what's a kosher chaya? A kosher chaya is the same thing as a kosher animal. It has to have mafrisis parsa and shesha shesa. Yes. So in other words, what's the kasha? And for the Gemara, Amar Rav Zera, Amar Beis, Amar Rav Zera, lahater chelba. No. I know it's kosher. I want to know if it's an animal or a chaya. Guys, if it's an animal, it's chaylev is karis. If it's a chaya, it's chaylev is muta. So the Gemara's teretz is, Eloi simani chaya, I have to now go ahead and tell the difference between a chaya and a behema. Initially we thought telling the difference between a chaya and a non-kosher animal. No, I know the simanim of kashrus are the same as a behema. I have to know, now that I know there's a behema and a chaya, what's the difference? What shows it's a chaya that it's chaylev is muta? It's geschmack. After the chaylev is muta. So now, what are the simanim of what? Of a chaya versus a behema. V'achin kamar. Now, it's very interesting. In Breishis, there's machlokes in the Ramban and Eben Ezra. Eben Ezra says a chaya lives in the wild, and an animal lives among man. It's domesticated. The Ramban says depends what it eats. A chaya is taruf. It eats carnivorous. He says that it eats other animals. There is a chaya that does that, but again, a kosher chaya not. But anyway, hachikamar eluhein simani chaya. What's the simanim of chaya? That it's chelba, that its fat is muta. Kol sheyeshla karnayim, it has horns, utlafim, and it has hooves. Now, guys, the hoof of a chaya is different than the hoof of a kosher animal. Take a look at page Tuf Yud Beis. On top, they're showing you the Shesi Ve'erev. The bottom right, fellas. The bottom right. You see that? You see the difference? The behema is more rounded. The other one is more vertical. It's sharper. You see it? The number 6, picture 6. So it has to have horns, and it has to have what? Tlufim. Tlufim again are not the rounded like the cow, but more pointed like the goat. Okay, so that says to go right away. Reb Daisi Amar Yesh La Kanayim Yatetzarich Lachzar Tlufim. If it has kanayim, it's a chaya. You don't have to check to see if it has hooves that are pointed. Yesh La Tlufim. However, if it has hooves that are pointed, tzarich ata lachzar al kanayim, you have to check it have horns. The keresh and the keresh, afa pisha ein loy ela keren achas, even though it only has one keren, chel boy muta. It's chelev is muta. It's definitely okay. We will Be'ez Hashem get back to the keresh, guys. Okay, we'll Be'ez Hashem get back to the one horn. If it's a unicorn, we'll get back to that. Okay. So now the klalahu, is this a rule that horns and tlafim is the sign of a chaya? Havari is a goat. Sheyesh le kernayim. It has horns. Utlafim. The chel bayasa. If I'd ask you what is a goat, you tell me a behema. Now, according to your taxonomy, according to the word classification, nomenclature is. There's a word. Where's Lenny? Nomenclature. I think there's such a word. Okay, he'll get back to us on this. And according to going in and figuring out exactly what it is, the goat has horns. It has the tlafim, and you're telling me that what the chalev is muta. We know the chalev of a goat is asa. A goat is one of the karbanis that's put on the mizbeach. The fats of the goat are imurim. Anything that's imurim is asa. So what kind of rule is this? What kind of rule is this? Says you need that the horns be kruchos. They have to be layered. Guys, take a look on page Tuf Yud Gimel. You see, it's layered. Klip al klipa. Klip al klipa. Says the Gemara. The kruchos v'chel bayasa. The shar's horns are kruchos, yet its chalev is aser. Says the Gemara charukos be'inon. You need that they have grooves in it. In fact, the Gemara va'ez the charukos v'chel bayasa. So the A's, right? Here he goes. You have the A's, the chelba is asa. You need grooves, and it doesn't have groove. It has grooves and it's asa. It says mifutzalos beinin. You need branched. Fred Gemara varit tzvi de mifutzalos v'chelev muta chaduras beinin. So the tzvi, it's not branched. It's horns, and nonetheless the chelev is muta. Says Rashi, very tzvi de mufutzalos. Up Rashi, guys. Very tzvi de mufutzalos. Lo yadana my kamar. Says Rashi, I have no idea what the Gemara is talking about. The vadai mufutzalos tain. The deer's horns of vadai branched out. Right? Think about those antlers. V'nir be'enai shema shanu korim tzvi shema shanu korim tzvi lehoyahem korim tzvi. What we called it tzvi, they didn't call it tzvi. Guys, this fits in very geschmack with the beginning of the Sichas Chulin, right? Let's see. We lost the names. We give names to animals. Tzvi, vayol. We don't know what they are. So just because what the Torah calls tzvi and we call tzvi are two different things. Elo oisan and nikroim steinbock. That's a type of deer. Steinbock. Steinbock. The karnayim shalem einim futzalim, and their karnayim are not. So take a look at page Tuf Yadalit. So you want to know about a goat. You know why a goat is not a chaya, guys? Because it's not mefutzalim. What's mefutzalim? Well, you have two pictures over here. You have one on the right and one on the left. The top picture, 9A and 9B. In both cases, you can see they're branched out, correct? That's what we call a deer. The Gemara says that a deer is not mefutzalos because what they call a deer, guys, is the bottom right. That's a Steinbeck. V'nir be'enai shemashanu korim tzvi What we call it tzvi lo hoyehim karim tzvi, elo oisan ekroyim steinbach, and their kanayim are not mifutzalos. So again, so we that animal with the long grooved horns, right? Good. Okay, we're very good. Now let's see Tosfos here. Bahari tzvi shem mifutzalos. Pirsha kontris tzvi ein zesh anukarim tzvi. It's not what we call it tzvi. The vadei mifutzalos hen. Vadei art tzvi are mifutzalos. El tzvi zo oisen anukarim oisle steinbach. Right. An ibex. The karin and shaloi. The karnel shaloi ein mifutzalim. For Rabbeinu Tam Oimar, the zo oisle anukarim tzvi. What we call it tzvi is it tzvi. Guys, one of the signs of a tzvi is if you skin it, you can never get back the meat, the skin to cover the meat. It's so tight. It's so tight. The skin of a deer, if you shecht it and skin it, you'll never ever be able to get the meat back into the skin. And we know that our tzvi fits that mold, literally. The tzvi kenhu kida amar mesech ksubis b'soif. The chazina nami, the b'shoshu yoshan, when it sleeps. Eino yachas psucha. Guys, it sleeps with one eye open. V'aminu b'medrash shir ashirim, doime doidi litzvi. Our doidi, Rebbeinu Shalom, is similar to a tzvi. Mat tzvi zeh, b'shoshu yoshan, eino yachas psucha, kach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, b'shash gailasan, v'tzarasan shal Yisrael, noisein eino aleim l'shoimram. Just like the tzvi's eye is always open, Daimid the tzvi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says Rabbeinu Tam, 1 second, I have signs that our tzvi is a tzvi. Rashi says he doesn't understand because our tzvi are mifutzalim, right? She says 2 things. 1, we know that the deer, you can never get the buster back in. Our deers, you can never get the buster back in. Sveitens. The deer sleep with one eye open. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sleeps with both eyes open. Another, we compare him to a deer. So says Tosfos, our deer is a deer. So what about the Gemara's kasha then? I lechar mifutzalois. V'hochi gasina Rabbeinu Tam. Mivutzalois. Not with a pay, with a vase. Mivutzalois. Kloimar sekufois, standing up, for a sheim kfufois. V'shal tzvi, ein a kfufois klal. So you know what you need. It has not split horns, but what? But curved horns. But tzvi's, guys, look at our deer, Tuf Yudalid. It's not curved. It goes straight up. It goes straight up. So Tosfos says, our deer is a deer. But don't be goyrus mifut solis with a pay. Because mivut solai. So let's read the Gemara now with Rabbeinu Tam's pshat. Fred the Gemara kasha vari ace the yesh lekanaim tulafim v'chel bayasa says the Gemara kruchas bina. You need layer. Fred the Gemara v'shah kruchas v'chel bayasa, and for the Gemara charukas bina. You need grooves. Vari ace the charukas v'chel bayasa. Right, it's grooved. Days is grooved, and it's also it's a behema. Mivut solai bina. You need it to be what? Branched, or mivut solai. You need them to be rounded. Says very tzvi de mivut salos. A tzvi is not mivut salos. Okay, so according to Rashi, you got a problem. According to Rabbeinu Tam, it's not rounded. It's mivut salos, but it's not rounded. The chelbay muta says Gemara chadurais binan. Chadurais binan. You need it chadurais. You need them hadurais. Agules kruchim. You need them curved and rounded. Hilkach hecha de miftzala. Once you have branched, you have no shaila. Leidina of leidina. It's nothing to talk about. Leidina of leidina. It's zichra chaya, and it's chayil of his mutter. Heicha de loy miftzala, where it's not branched, but in kruchos, the chaduros, the charukos. Okay, it's picture 14. Picture 14, page Tuf Tesayim. Charukais, Charitzei, and Tkufais. So in other words, if you take a look at the top, chaduros kein karnei ayil with tzvi shechodon l'mayla. It's sharp at the top, and I stopped short in the Gemara, guys. Be'inon, go back to the Gemara. So if it's branched, there's nothing to talk about. If it's not branched, then you need it to be kruchos layered, chaduros rounded, v'charukos and mad and grooved, v'hu mivla charikayu, and the grooves have to be on picture 14. They have to be next to each other and in each other. They have to be next to each other and in each other. That's the way it has to be. V'hainu sveika de iza karkos, and this is the suffix of the iza of karkos, the goat of karkos. Now, what's the shaila? It's called an aiz. On the other hand, it has the simonim of a chaya. Rashi says, what's the shaila? If you look at Rashi, v'hainu sveika de iza karkos, go down a little bit. Shekarnov chaduros v'charukos, it has the simonim of a chaya's horns. Umesafkalon kimin the chaduros uvecharukos chayahu, aydilma kimin the shmoyes min behemahu, and then its chaylev is going to be asa. So that's a shaila back in the Gemara. Ha'i is the karkos the havi bebesh galusa the oka molitzina de tarba mine. They took out a bucket of fat from it. Rav Achai asa, Rav Achai asid it. He didn't eat it. Rav Shmuel b'reid Rav Avohu achal. Rav Shmuel b'reid Rav Avohu, he did eat it. And Korya Nafshe, Rav Shmuel B'rei the Rabbi said on himself, mi pri ish tispa bitnoi, meaning from his mouth that he mated this, he was savei his betnim by eating chalev of its tzvi. Sholchem itam hilchas agabasi the Shmuel B'rei the Rabbi Vahu by the iza of the karkos that it's a chaya. If it's hiru b'Rabbeinu achai, but be careful about Rabbeinu achai. Shemer einay goylahu. Because he's the eyes of the Goyla. So it's interesting, right? What he interesting, he's the eyes of the Goyla. So look, I found this Klam Sofa. I don't know. Do you see the word v'huzharu b'ramachai? Okay, so guys, this is the Chasam Sofa. Look, you see Chasam? This is Chasam Sofa. So what does he say? V'hizhiru v'Rebbi Achai, the Meir Einai Hagoylahu. Pirish, Iza the Karkos, who suffix A's, it's a suffix whether it's a goat and it's a behema, suffix Tzvi and it's a Chaya. He didn't decide to be materit. Lahatiroi ketzvi. Why? Kimin sheyoshan, it sleeps. Ubeis einav stumen. Why do we see in Taisus about the tzvi? The tzvi sleeps with what? One eye open. But this A's, even though it has the horns of a chaya, it sleeps with both eyes closed. V'yomru chas v'shalom doime doidi la'osei tzvi. Chas v'shalom to the Rebbeinu Shalom should be compared to this tzvi. V'chas v'shalom ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu einoi psucha al Yisrael b'goyla. His eyes are what? Einoi psucha k'mishkas of Taisus b'sham hamedrash v'hainu meir einai hagoyla. That's what he says. That's why they called him meir einai hagoyla. Why? Because it sleeps with both eyes closed. So therefore, he couldn't go ahead and paskin openly. He couldn't paskin openly to matter it, since what meya einai goyla, you should be meya einai, the one who watches and golas. Okay, keresh aval b'shein le'el keren echad muta. The keresh, even though it only has one keresh, is muta. Okay, we're going to stop over here, but I want to go through a piece in the Sichas Chulin. Okay. If you look on page Taf Yud Zayin, again, I should do a little more Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda, Keresh is Tavya de Beiloi. It's the deer of Beiloi. Tagris is Aryeh de Beiloi. The Tagris is the lion of Beiloi. Rav Kahana, Tesha Masa have a Bein Una Launa the Aryeh de Beiloi. There are 9 amas between the Una Launa of the one end to the other end of the Aryeh Beiloi. Amar Rabbi Yosef, Shitza Masa have a Mashke de Tavya Beiloi. 16 amas is the skin of Tavya Beiloi. So Amaloi Kesa, we're going to get to, so this Tavya Be'eloi is a very, very big animal. Now the question is, what exactly is the Tavya Be'eloi? What exactly is this animal? What are we discussing over here? Let's see Toisus first. Third Toisus in the bottom. The Keresh, Afa Pishin like El Keren Echad, Bel by Mutta. Bim Toima, Perik Bam Madlikin, Amar, Tachash, Keren Achas Hayaloi. The Tachash had one Keren, the Mitzchay in his forehead, the Torah Haya, Midam Rabbi Yehuda, and the Amar Shor Shikr Vad Marishain, Keren Achas Hayasaloi, the Mitzchay. The Hachi Daik Midam Yehuda, Shaya Tachash Tahar, Balei Koloisen Sheyesh La Keren Achas, Ein Shavim. The Ikka Keresh Shu Chaya, the Shor Shu Behema. Guys, so one horn can be a chaya like Adam Arishain bought the Keren Abar, and one could be what a chaya. One could be a chaya like this. The Yeshleim, the Samach Amaslisan, the Bas Simin, the Chol Sheyesh Le Kanayim Yesh Le Tlafim, Umestama Afil BeKeren Achas. If anything that has horns, plural, is a chaya, even anything that has one, Mid Ashken Shor Shehikr Adam Arishain Shekeren Echad Haysel B'Mitzchay B'Tahar. Well, you found that's tar. So in other words, it's a good simile of Titus. But the question is, what exactly is this keresh with one horn? So you take a look on Tuf Yud Zayin, guys. You have a picture of a giraffe. A picture of a giraffe. Now, the giraffe does not have front teeth. Right? Guys, the male giraffe has 3 horns. One over here, one over there, and one in the middle. The female giraffe does not have that one in the middle. The female giraffe does not have that one in the middle. It has two little ones. If you look at it, it says, you see it has 2 kanayim on this head and one in the forefront. And it's Malegeira, and you have and Mafis Parsa. The giraffe has all the simanim of a kosher animal. So now, let's look at the ha'aris of the Sichas Chulin and the bottom of Tuf Yud Zayin. Right, let's look at the Aris of the Sichas Chulin on Taf Yud Zayin. Count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. Chashafti Loimar, I thought to say, Shar Yesh Chaya Kazu Gam B'Yameinu. We have a Chaya like the Tachash in our days. Sheyesh La B'Roisha Shtei Kanayim. It has 2 horns in the middle. With a Meitzach Keren Katana, and the middle has 1 small horn. Shlishis. V'hi Chaya Hakruya Giraffa. And this is the Chaya that's called a giraffe. Right? Shekol tiurei hatachash v'hakeresh matimim la. All the titles that we give the tachash and the keresh, they apply to it. Karneha ketanois, it has small horns. Mechu orois umashchirois, right? It's or gufa hinoi bal gavna yafim. It has very nice what? It has very nice, colorful skin. It's like sis gavna. The Targum teaches the Tachash as the Saskavna. Rav Shmuel always says, it's sus, it's happy, the Gavna. That's what's covering the Mishkan. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants anything that's happy with itself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants covering his Mishkan. Rav Shmuel Birnbaum. Sus Gavna. Sus, it's happy, Gavna. Upirish Rashi Sham, she sus umispar begavna shlei, as I just told you. He gavoyim ma'oid, it's very hard. B'yimeinu shisha mitrim, u'meha mishnah sitra amasa, 16 to 6. V'oida eina machzekes b'tzara ketzvi. It also does not hold its skin like, doesn't hold its skin like it's a tzvi. Turn the page. We'll skip down. And also he says that it's not found. We said it wasn't found only b'mei Moshe, guys. You know what that means? It was only found in that area b'mei Moshe. Not that it wasn't found in the world. They live in Africa. Bnei Yisrael were not in Africa. So it was only found in that part at that time. And skip down a little bit. And now he says, that we don't need it today. It's only found in the plains of Africa. Oy mifnei das hachachmas adam al pi hashach shein oifen chaya blei mesaira. This is a very important cloud, guys. Why don't we eat these weird animals? Says the shach. We only eat animals that we have mesaira on. Again, it's a crapshoot, fellas. We saw what exactly are kosher animals, what are not kosher animals, right? We don't know. So it has simanim, but since we have no mesaira on it, we can't eat it. That's the whole shiloh with a turkey, fellas. You have a shiloh with turkey. There's no mesaira in turkey. It's an American bird. It's you have a so this is the idea. Afa b'sheyesh simani tyra, even though it has simani tyra. Now, people say a stupid thing. We don't know where to shecht it. It doesn't make any sense. Guys, we really know shechita. What's the area from Tabasa Gedola till what? Till the beginning of the lungs, the vesher. Guys, go turn back to page Tuf Yud Zayin. I would gather to say, go on a limb to say, there's no animal that has a larger base of shechita than the giraffe. It's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. Exact opposite. It's not cost effective. It doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. Who cares that it's so long? It only has 7 chuyas. Says the Sichas Chulin, guys, the giraffe with its long neck has the same amount of chuyas as a cow, but they're much bigger, but it has the same amount. You could do both of them. Okay. The Paris Chayom, Shari Sheretz Mine. Okay, it goes now on a different tangent. Okay, but you have an idea. According to the Sichas Chulin Ken Zayin, the Tachash was a giraffe. There's a lot of nice rayas to it. And I bid you have a very, very great day.